And maybe there are occasionally companies that get created where there's not an extended period of extreme pain, but I'm not aware of very many of such instances. So I think, frankly, starting a company, I would advise people to have a high pain tolerance. And what tends to happen is it's sort of quite exciting for the first several months of starting a company, and then reality sets in. It can be very, very painful for several years. Things don't go as well as planned. Customers aren't signing up. The technology or the product isn't working as well as you thought. I do think that new great entrepreneurs are born every day, and we'll continue to see amazing companies get built. But I would definitely advise people who are starting a company to expect a long period of quite high difficulty. I think this is sort of general advice I'd give to people starting companies, to entrepreneurs in general, is really focus on making a product that your customers love. If you can come up with something like that, your business will be successful for sure. Now there will always be some degree of imperfection, but try to minimize that. It's so rare that you can buy a product and you love the product when you bought it. There are very few things that fit into that category, and I think if you do that, then the rest kind of takes care of itself. If your customers love you, your odds of success are dramatically higher. As long as people stay super focused on creating the absolute best product or service that really delights their end customer. Basically, if you get it such that your customers want you to succeed, then you probably will.
Right.
I think maybe some people know, but a lot of people don't know. Is I'm actually the chief engineer of SpaceX, so I've signed off on pretty much all the design decisions. If there's something that goes wrong with that vehicle, it's fundamentally my fault, So when I see the rocket, I see all the things that could go wrong and the things that could be better, not what other people see when they see the product.
We don't think too much about what competitors are doing, just because I think it's important to be just focused on making the best possible products. Maybe analogous to what they say about if you're in a race, don't worry about what the other runners are doing. Just run. It is generally true that innovation comes from questioning the way things have been done before. And if in the education system you're taught not to do that, that will inhibit entrepreneurship. I mean, just saying, well, is there a better way? To ask that question. Elevators used to have a manual elevator operator, and you'd have somebody would be sort of moving the lever and be able to do fine-tune adjustments with the elevator for each floor. Now there's no manual controller for elevators. I think it's going to seem the same way for cars. And I do want to be clear, predictions are not endorsements. So I'm not saying that this would be a good or a bad thing. I'm just saying that this is probably what will occur. In the long term, owning a car that does not have autonomous capability will be a bit like owning a horse. I mean, you sort of own a horse for sentimental reasons, but not for actual transport.
I would be hard pressed to say that we understand anything with complete accuracy, but can we dramatically improve our understanding of consciousness? I believe the answer is yes. What consciousness feels like? It feels like consciousness is in a different dimension, but this could be just an illusion. If you damage your brain in some way physically, you damage your consciousness, which implies that consciousness is a physical phenomenon. In my view, the scientific method is if you cannot test the hypothesis, then you cannot reach meaningful conclusion that it is true. Are we headed towards the future where an AI will be able to outthink us in every way? Then the answer is unequivocally yes. Digital intelligence will be able to outthink us in every way, and it will still be able to simulate what we consider consciousness, so to a degree that you would not be able to tell the difference. Well, we can reprogram robots easier than we can reprogram humans. You don't want to have super intelligence stuck in a very limited device. You don't want to have your toaster be like a super genius toaster. It's going to hate life because all it could just make is toast. As a species, we want to be continuing to do better and reach higher ground.
What kind of future do we want? Do we want a future where we are forever confined to one planet until some eventual extinction event, however far in the future that might occur? Or do we want to become a multi-planet species? And I think the latter is a far more exciting and inspiring future than the former. And so there's the defensive reason of protecting the future of humanity, ensuring that the light of consciousness is not extinguished should some calamity befall Earth, and then ultimately be out there among the stars and be among many planets, many star systems.
We should basically think of this like being a multi-planet species, just like taking out insurance for life itself.
Personally, I find what gets me more excited is the fact that this would be an incredible adventure, maybe like the greatest adventure ever. And Mars is the next natural step. In fact, it's the only planet we really have a shot at establishing ourselves. City on. And I think once we do establish such a city, there will be a strong forcing function for the improvement of spaceflight technology that will then enable us to establish colonies elsewhere in the solar system and ultimately extend beyond our solar system.
I do want to do that. Humanity has obviously a lot of issues. People at times do bad things, but despite all that, I love humanity, and I think we should make sure we do everything we can to have a good future and an exciting future, and one that maximizes the happiness of the people. It would be a new frontier and an opportunity to rethink the whole nature of government, just as was done in the creation of the United States.
Going to Mars is definitely going to be, it's going to be hard and dangerous and difficult in probably every way you can imagine. If you care about sort of being safe and comfortable, going to Mars would be a terrible choice, and it would be exciting and inspiring. And there need to be things that excite and inspire people. Yeah. There have to be, reasons why you get up in the morning. It can't just be solving problems. It's got to be, something great's going to happen in the future. You think of sort of how incredible the Apollo program was, and just, I mean, if you ask anyone and say, name some of humanity's greatest achievements in the 20th century, the Apollo program landing on the moon would make, in many, if not most places, be number one.
I think it would be tragic, extremely tragic, if Apollo was the high watermark for humanity, and that's as far as we ever got. Right now, you couldn't fly to Mars for $1 trillion. No amount of money could get you a ticket to Mars. So we need to get that above, to get that like something that is actually possible at all. It's concerning that here we are, 49 years after the last mission to the moon, and so almost half a century. And we've not been back. And that's worrying. It's like, does that mean we've peaked as a civilization, or what? I mean, generally, I think we should be aiming for like a positive society. It should be okay to, be humorous. Like we should like wokeness basically wants to make comedy illegal, which is not cool. There are just a lot of no-fly zones with a lot of comedy. SNL, I used to be a huge fan of SNL, but I still think they have some occasional good stuff, but many, if not most, of the SNL episodes are kind of a moral lecture on why we're bad human beings, instead of comedy. And then you realize that's like, wait a second, is it trying to push you in a particular direction, or getting to an essential truth that is humorous? Mm-hmm. And when it stops trying to get to an essential truth that is humorous, then it's just not that funny. It is a prevalent mind virus, and arguably one of the biggest threats to modern civilization. At its heart, wokeness is divisive, exclusionary, and hateful. It basically gives mean people a shield to be mean and cruel, armored in false virtue. So do we want a humorless society that is simply rife with condemnation and hate, basically? Try to shut down Chappelle? Come on, man. That's crazy.